I've got bad news, and I've got bad news once again. It's a period where AS Roma is being submerged with bad news, with their bad form. Now we've got bad transfer market news. Because many sources out there say that Juventus have taken a lead on Roma when it comes to the Zakaria deal. I can see why. And this is why, from the very start of this deal, I was very I was negative about it. And I'll be honest, from the very start, Roma were interested about Zakaria. My interests on Zakaria boosted a lot. I was actually, I wanted to see Zakaria play for Roma. I think he's a great player. But from the very start, there was also a part of me going, nah, it's too complicated. He will never play for Roma. And I'm starting to get the feeling why this is a very hard deal. Because Zakaria, as we said a couple of months ago, is almost finishing his contract with Borussia Mönchengladbach. And according to some sources, he doesn't want to renew his contract. That means that, many clubs will point their eyes on Zakaria because they know that this guy can benefit every club. He's a defensive midfielder section, which is an aggressive midfielder, slide tackles, bags the assists and the goals. So, he's a sort of symbol, he's a sort of prototype player, which I think every team would like. Now, and there are obviously better clubs than Roma, more well-known clubs than Roma, which are now interested in Zakaria, because after a few months of action, they've actually understood that their defensive midfielder is struggling as well. These clubs are Borussia Dortmund and Juventus, are well-known friends Juventus, the dickheads. But I can see why Juventus are interested in Zakaria, because Juventus' midfielder section is probably even worse than Roma's. They've got Bentancur, which every Juventus fan says he's like a standing pig in the midfielder section area. They've got Rabiot, which I still need to understand why Deschamps, the French national team coach, keeps on giving him a call. I think he's absolutely trash. I understand why Juventus need Zakaria. And if the fight will be between Juventus and Roma, then I think Roma can easily get out of this fight, because economically Roma are, they're worse than Roma. Historically Zakaria will be pointing his eyes on Juventus more than Roma, because he knows that a trophy with Juventus is more likely than with Roma. But we've got one positive thing, and we should call it our savior. And this savior is Jose Mourinho. Because with Jose Mourinho, anything can happen. I mean, a few months ago, in the last transfer market session, I read once that Mourinho was giving Luka Modric a call. Yeah, it's absolute bullshit. You're thinking the exact same thing as me. But the fact that journalists have the balls to write such bollocks on the newspaper means that they're trying to let us know that with Jose Mourinho, any player could physically come to Roma. So that is our only savior in this deal up to now. But I highly doubt Zakaria will wear an AS Roma t-shirt. Because not only Juventus are interested, Borussia Dortmund are interested. Haaland's team is interested in Deniz Zakaria. Arsenal are interested in Deniz Zakaria. I want to say this, but, Roma, unfortunately, out of all these clubs which are interested in Zakaria, is the least fortunate when it comes to money. So obviously that has a great impact, because they won't be spending a lot of money on Zakaria. Plus, yes, if Juventus offers more money, I would definitely not counter-offer, because then we risk losing money for a player. Zakaria is another injury-prone player. He's great, but he does get injured quite often. So, I would rather Juventus spend more money than, imagine it's a fight between Juventus and Roma. Roma offer 5 million, obviously, which is not much, but his contract is actually, coming to an end, so his price will drop. So if Roma offer 5 million, Juventus will definitely counter offer and probably offer 10. Roma will maybe try one last offer and they will try and offer 15, but Juventus has more money than Roma. Juventus is richer than Roma. Juventus is, is a more holiday beach destination for a player which doesn't know this area. So, as much as I really want Zakaria, I would rather Roma focus on other players and not spend much money on him. Now, Arsenal are interested in him. I think Arsenal are now bouncing back in the Premier League. Their defensive midfielders aren't that bad. Who do they have? Xhaka's not playing anymore because he's injured. They've got that Lokonga guy, which is not too bad. So I would much rather. I would not rather see Zakaria wearing a Juventus shirt than an Arsenal shirt. That's not what I think. But I think it's way more possible to see Zakaria wearing a Juventus shirt than an Arsenal shirt, because I do think Juventus need a defensive midfielder more than Arsenal. But we're here to speak about Roma. We're here to speak about Zakaria and Roma. So I do think, as I said before, let's talk about the economic part of this deal, because Zakaria, as I said before, is coming towards an end when it comes to his Borussia Mönchengladbach experience. His contract is about to be done. It's about to vanish away in 2022 in a couple of months. That means that now Zakaria and his agents have two paths. You either renew his contract at Borussia Mönchengladbach, but that deal consists of Zakaria actually wanting to stay there. And I heard rumors saying that Zakaria wants a new experience. Or the other path they could take is, go to another club. Who this club will be, I'm not sure. But that means that if Roma buy Zakaria in 2022, if Roma buy Zakaria before he signs a potential contract with Borussia Mönchengladbach, if you renew his contract, then it means that his price and his will drop, and that's a benefit for Roma, because we're all about the bargains. We don't want to spend much money. So if Zakaria doesn't renew his contract and Roma are interested to buy him in January, then his price is around 5 million to 7 million. It's not that big of a deal, especially after we spent God knows how much money for Pastore and Zonzi combined. I think, Zakaria has paying 5 to 7 million, maybe to 10 million, which is still another bargain for Zakaria, is good. He's young, and I think he can benefit the attacking midfielder section, because as you can see, he scored 2 goals in 9 matches, meaning he almost scored a quarter of the goals in the matches he played. Almost, not there. I can do maths, but that obviously means that in case more competition between clubs, this is how I see it. Before a few weeks ago, Roma were the only one interested in Zakaria. That means that paying 5 to 7 million for Zakaria would be a bargain. Now, his price drops if he doesn't renew his contract with Borussia Mönchengladbach. But the more competition between other clubs in buying Zakaria, I think the higher the price will go. So, if more teams join this race for Zakaria, if Roma, Juventus, Arsenal, Borussia Dortmund all join this kind of trade deal for Zakaria, then Roma are definitely the most, the useless bunch out of these teams, because obviously they're the team out of all these teams interested in Zakaria which need to spend less money. So if Zakaria's price goes up because of the many competition of teams, then I do think, and I see Juventus, Arsenal and Borussia Dortmund, be more proactive to buy Zakaria. So, apologies. I see it like this. It might be it might be bullshit. Media out there sometimes is complete bollocks. It's absolute bollocks. So I think, this might be true. I definitely see Juventus interested in Zakaria. Like, I see them interested in Zakaria because I know how much they lack in the midfielder section. Arsenal, I'm not too sure. They've got their players in the midfielder section. They've got Xhaka, who's almost back from his injury. They've got Lukonga. They've got Thomas Partey. They have the players. Borussia Dortmund, who do they have? Bellingham. I'm going to check who Borussia Dortmund have right now. In the midfielder section, they've got Bellingham, Witsel, Meunier, Hazard. At this stage, out of these 4 teams which are interested in Zakaria, I only see 2 of them actually needing Zakaria, and these are Roma and Juventus. But the more competition between Roma and Juventus happens, the more Juventus will benefit from this deal, because economically they're better than Roma. So it's hit or miss. Juventus, the other thing is that I also see Juventus pointing their eyes on another player who maybe costs a bit more money but might give a more of an impact to Juventus. I know that Juventus was interested in what's his name again? Goretzka from Bayern Munich, and obviously, if I were Juventus, I would rather buy Goretzka. But, Juventus need to think about money as well. And I think Zakaria is a good option when it comes to their economic factors as well. So, let's read some comments and then... Zakaria, a right back and a goal-scoring attacker is needed. We have to get him before everyone else. That's important. But, how do we trick them? Because other clubs will definitely want to buy Zakaria when Roma will probably buy him, and that means at the start of 2022 when his contract ends with Borussia Mönchengladbach because his price drops. Explain to the viewers that how on earth does Ole Gunnar Solskjaer still have a job? Well, I think you should probably go ask Mark Goldbridge that, because I'm not a big Manchester United fan. I couldn't care less about Manchester United at this stage when I gotta focus about Roma being in a very, very bad state. But what I can say is that I've heard that the presidentials at Manchester United have faith in Ole. Someone explained to me how. So yeah, go ask Mark Goldbridge. I'm not too sure about that. Unless if we find a good alternative. Hey Jose Mourinho, welcome Jose. Roma has Jose only advantage from. I agree. When it comes to competition with other clubs, I think Jose is the only savior which could bring Zakaria to Roma. 5 million is a steal for Zakaria. I don't think Arsenal will go for him, sure. I've seen that they might meet the 80 million asking price for Vlahovic. Vlahovic is another big deal. Because Juventus are close on Vlahovic as well, with Morata not performing well. And then I've read Atletico Madrid are interested in Vlahovic as well, but they bought Griezmann, so I don't know. It'd be kind of bullshit if they buy Dusan Vlahovic, because I can't see him playing at Atletico Madrid at all, and I think he's an absolute bowler. So, right. This is the Zakaria deal. Now... if a few weeks ago Roma were the only contenders in this deal, Roma were the only one waiting for Zakaria's contract to end so they can, boom, launch on Zakaria and try to steal him from other clubs' interests and from Borussia Mönchengladbach themselves. Now, coming towards the January transfer market session where many teams around us actually are finding puzzles and holes in their team, playing in the Champions League, playing in the Europa League, playing in their, representative leagues. I do think more clubs are now interested in Zakaria because they understood that their defensive midfielder section is not good enough. And Zakaria is a good compromise because after the pandemic, every single team, and I'm not just saying Roma, I'm saying Real Madrid got economically, influenced. Got economically, kind of dropped economically. So therefore, buying Zakaria at 5 to 10 million euros for a player who's young, who, scores, who bags the assists, who gives a contribution in the defensive midfielder, I see it as an absolute bargain, and I totally understand teams which are pointing their eyes on Zakaria. Are you traveling anywhere during Christmas holidays? I might go skiing, mate. We'll finish top 4, says Jose Mourinho. We hope. It's very, very hard. 80 million for Vlahovic, what a joke. Yeah, I agree. Absolute joke. He's good, but never 80 million. He's the Bruno Fernandes of Serie A. Right, lads. I'm going to end this stream. So, quick live stream all about Deniz Zakaria. Expect more travel. Not travel. What am I going on with? Expect more transfer and injury updates in these weeks where we don't have matches to prepare for. But it's really good because Roma need to reassess in these week and a half. So yeah, anyone here, if you're new here, please subscribe. Bottom right hand corner, it takes 2 seconds and it supports all of us so much. Click the link in the description below to subscribe to my second channel and follow me on Instagram over here at Lower Score The Silent Show if you have Instagram. I'm actually doing a Q&A, an Instagram Q&A in a bit. So if you have any questions, pop them in the small box I'm going to put on my story in a bit. Good night, take care, and hopefully Zakaria comes to Roma, but I'll keep you updated. Take care. Simon out.